It's time to meet Charlie's mom. Before we get to today's video, I want to take a moment to talk about Patreon. That's right, we are on Patreon now, and we have a bunch of tiers with a bunch of great rewards. You can subscribe and get things like early access to all reactions, depending on your tier, depends on which reactions you get early access to. You can vote on polls exclusive to patrons that will help determine future reaction series and more. You will get to just have various choices in terms of like getting to choose future reactions I react to, getting to choose first impressions I check out, all kinds of different rewards, and possibly more coming in the future. We're still new at this. We're still figuring things out. It's a process. It's a process. But we have multiple tiers, so whatever you would be able to donate, if you're able and willing to donate, is appreciated. It helps me out, it helps the channel out, it helps us grow. It's going to help just, standardly. It's just something new to check out. Plus, if you like getting the reactions early, that's also a plus. But it is optional. If you're unable to do it, that's completely fine. All reactions will come to YouTube just a little bit later, a week later or so. So, that all being said, thank you as always so much, and let's get on with today's video. And with that being said, hey everyone, welcome to Princess K. I'm your host Connie, and today we are here with my blind reaction to episode 3 of the Darwin incident. So, last time we got to meet Charlie's mom. We got a little visit from, we briefly got to meet Charlie's mom. We're going to touch on more of that this time. And I mean his birth mother, not his adoptive mother. We got a visit from the leader, or possibly leader. We don't know if he's actually the full leader. We assume he is. Of the Animal Liberation Rights Group. We touched on some more philosophy with the question of, eating humans and whatnot, and why we can eat other animals but not humans, and the argument over intelligence and various things with that. So it's we're seemingly, at least right now, episodically touching on some kind of notable topic. We're focusing on the overarching story with the animal rights group, and getting to just learn more about Charlie, seeing how he connects to these other characters, and just showing how evil the enemy group is as well, considering the opening of last episode. But I also wanted to look up something, because I saw, apparently some people on YouTube, I saw some reactions for this, and some people were surprised that Charlie's mom was still alive 15 years later. And it's chimps can live 30 to 40 years in the wild. And in captivity, it's double that. So it's chimpanzees can live quite a long time. 15 years after Charlie's birth is nothing. The fact that his mom is still alive is not a surprise at all. So it's I assume that people just didn't realize chimps live that long. Maybe they thought they had I don't know, dog lifespans or something. But yeah, it was there was a couple reactions I saw that had that as the title of the video or whatnot. Charlie's mom is still alive? Big shock. But no, it's really not. It's not a surprise at all. I guess the only other idea that could have led to it is being surprised because of the condition she was in when we saw her during the cold open scene in episode 1. She was in some pretty bad condition, but there was not really any hint that she was going to die. In fact, it actually almost directly implied that she would be saved because they got to her in time. They got to her in time, and
that was able to allow Charlie to be born, and she was saved as well. That was the implication to me, at least. But I mean, I guess maybe some people saw it otherwise. I don't know. But yeah. So if you didn't know that chimps can live that long, little bit of a surprise for you there. Little bit of a fun fact, I guess. But yeah, it's just I'm very curious to see where this is going to go, because this series has got me thinking quite a lot about things. And I mean, it's not really like changing my perspective on much. Like I've talked about my perspective in the reactions and given my view on a lot of these kinds of philosophical questions, but it's not really changing my view on it. It's just kind of like bringing forth new ideas and new like questions about it all, which I think is more what it's trying to do. I don't think it's trying to like explicitly tell you what to think. It's more asking you to think. It's asking you to like actually put forth effort into figuring this stuff out for yourself. And I think that's a fairly good way to handle it, honestly. Um, but yeah, I'm really enjoying this so far. I'm like really attached to like the story and the characters. Charlie is just precious. He's a bean. I love him. I love his stoicness. I love his like kind of almost dry wit at times, and how like he just genuinely doesn't understand how to interact with humans, but he's getting better. He is getting better. We see that already in episode 2 with his interactions with the girl whose name I can never fucking remember, and I don't know why. I'm bad with names. I'll get it down eventually. I really will. I hope I will. But yeah, you can see him opening up a lot more, and that's good. That's great, even. And I think it's because he, treats her, she treats him, rather, um, you know, respectfully. Unlike all these other idiots out there who are just bashing him or questioning him at every moment, or seeing him even as a celebrity in some cases. But either way, I'm just excited to see what happens next, what happens with this interaction with Charlie's mom and the leader of the animal rights group, who has also been lying about being a specific researcher at a specific location. So yeah, I think we should just get into this and see what this episode has to offer. So let's check it out.
Hold up just a sec. Before you click that link down in the description below to get to today's video, I want to remind you of all the awesome content we have both on this channel and the Princess of Gaming channel. Let's check it out. Welcome to the Afterthoughts. We'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. This series just continues to get better and better. It continues to prove itself, like, in terms of its writing, its character work, its, like, depth in terms of philosophy, in terms of motivations, and just what a character is, like, even willing to do as things change and grow. Like, even just Charlie going to confront them, the animal liberation group, because of not only his parents, but his one friend being threatened, but because also all of this has made Lucy scared. All of it has made her worry. And so because of that, really almost on its own, Charlie has decided to go after them because he wants to protect her. He wants to
keep her from worrying. He wants to make it so that she's, happy and feels safe. And that already shows immense growth, because Charlie's, like I said before, very stoic. He tends to have a very deeply straightforward way of thinking and way of acting, to the point where it's like you even see it at the beginning of this episode with his birth mother. It's like he doesn't really see her as his mom. She gave birth to him, and he has not had a relationship with her outside of that. He even says that he was getting bored of being there. And this is, again, a very straightforward way of thinking. You might view it as less human almost, because there's not really that level of sympathy or empathy or just emotional weight that humans usually have that connect them to this kind of thing. But Charlie thinks so logically. He thinks so straightforward that it's hard for him to clearly have defined emotion. And we see he doesn't really emote or react the same way as everyone else does. But there are exceptions to this. And again, this at the end is one of them. But there's another moment in this episode that also shows that. He shows fear when his family is getting attacked. When he hears the animal rights group breaking in, when he hears them coming in and can tell it's clearly being done as a break-in or an attack or whatnot, he runs. He runs, and the first thing he does when he gets to the top of the stairs is he yells out, "Watch out, Dad." He warns his parents so that they can, be aware and protective. That they can help keep themselves safe while Charlie continues to go after them. So that because otherwise they could have gotten the jump on them and hurt or killed them. Charlie's first instinct wasn't to go after the men. His first instinct was to warn his parents, because he felt fear. And I don't even know if he fully realizes it. I don't know if it really clicks in his head, but he absolutely does feel love for his parents. Because unlike his birth mother, they were there for him the entire time, his entire 15 years of life. They raised him. They cared for him. They taught him. And to him, that's what matters. And it does matter. Again, it's very clear that he loves them. So the fact that was how he reacted to hearing them breaking in, hearing the animal rights group breaking in, that shows that he is capable of emotion. He just hasn't really had opportunities and moments to express it. He's oftentimes, let's be honest, he's been held back from actively interacting with most people outside of his parents. Because of the incident that happened when he was 5, they held off on letting him go to school until he was 15. That's 10 whole years of not really having much interaction with anyone outside of his parents. And maybe these researchers and whatnot. And yeah, that he knows how to communicate with humans because of that to a degree. But he's not good at it. And especially with kids his own age. And especially when people, confront him in some way. Now, he's able to take it in stride, and he's able to, talk back and answer questions and give his views on things. But he doesn't really have that, normal human level of communication just yet. But we can see how he's changing through interacting with Lucy. And so we see him starting to get to that point. Starting to reach a higher level of communication to where he's going to probably be able to show more emotion. And this is exactly the kind of shit that I was hoping to see with this series. This is exactly what I wanted this show to do when I watched the first episode. But it's also doing the stuff that I want it to do in a bad way. Let me explain. On top of the positive stuff that this series is doing, that's like, you know, developing the characters really well and allowing for some really great philosophical thoughts to occur, this series is also touching on the negative aspects of this all. From discrimination to, well, Charlie's lack of proper ability to communicate with people in some ways, to, you know, all the terrorist shit going on. This is stuff that is horrifying, is like really upsetting to see, but at the same time it needs to be seen, because it allows the messages and themes of this series to be able to be told. And so it's like, you don't want to see Charlie get discriminated against. You don't want to see Lucy's mom be such a bitch. But it kind of has to happen. And some people would probably say, oh, but you have him making a friend and his friend's parent just happens to be like super bitchy and terrible and discriminatory. And it's like, that's been overdone. It's been done to death. It's like, yes, but there's a reason for that. It's a very, very, very common trope. But there's a reason for that, and it's because it's real. And you could compare this to so many things. Whether replace Charlie with a queer person, a person of color, even in some cases just a person of a different gender than you. And there are so many people who have gone through this kind of thing where they have had parents of friends be discriminatory to them. Or in some cases, it's their own parents who are the ones being discriminatory. And it's terrible, it sucks, and it shouldn't happen. But it's unfortunately something people have gone through. And I grew up very privileged. I grew up, you know, white, male presenting at the time. When I was, you know, a teenager and everything, straight presenting at the time. Couldn't be me now, but I am like so fucking gay. But the point is, I grew up in an entirely privileged perception of things. But the reason I'm allowed and able to see this kind of stuff, and the reason it breaks my heart so much, is because I did have friends who were people of color. I had friends who were queer. And I knew this growing up, too. It's not something that I, like, in terms of the queerness, that I found out later. Oh, no, I knew that. Obviously, people of color, it's like, yeah. But I'm appalled when I see this kind of treatment to people. Like, for any reason. Because how can you rationalize in your mind that you see yourself as better than another person because of the color of their skin or because of their sexuality or gender? It's like, I don't understand how a person can rationalize that as being, like, you know, fucking normal even. And I think one of the reasons I'm, like, so aggressively, like, upset by that is because in some cases I did used to be like that. Despite growing up with this stuff around me, I was always taught that, you know, queerness, as a big example, was really bad. And I should stay away from it. Shit like that. And it made me think that way, especially in regards to being trans. And so, I'm sorry. I don't know if you can hear that, but I think there's like, I think someone's out there in their car or something playing music, and it's like it's distracting me a little. But yeah, it's like, I just, I used to be not the best person in regards to that. I used to say and do some transphobic shit. I used to even be homophobic to a degree, though that was much less of a degree. But the point is, I used to say and do some terrible things, and I regret it greatly because I've had friends who have helped me realize that I was in the wrong. And through talking to them, through getting to see other people's perspectives on things, getting to just, you know, not be an ignorant asshat, I was able to change myself. I was able to, you know, not be terrible anymore, at least as terrible. Because the idea is brought up in this that, like, everybody does have problems. Nobody's perfect. And it might be a pessimistic way to look at things, but it's true to a degree. No, that's not to say everybody's terrible, but everybody has issues. Everybody does some wrong things at times in their lives. It's not really about whether or not you do this stuff. It's how you act and react after you do. It's like, how do you react and rationalize to a bad thought you might have at some point? Just out of anger or whatever else. Say you're like really angry at a person and you just, in your mind, wish that they were dead. I think most people can relate to that. They've had that thought even if they never meant it, of course. It's just pure anger boiling up inside of you, and it gives you a bad thought. It's how you handle things after that shows who you truly are, though. If you act on that thought, yeah, that's bad. That's fucking like terrible. But if you calm yourself down and realize, no, I would never actually do that. I care about this person, or at the very least, I would never do that to someone. It's like that shows that you're a better person than that. Then that's just, an intrusive thought. It's like, and sometimes it takes a while to get to the point of changing yourself. Sometimes you need other people to help you. I had to get other people to help me. I'm not ashamed to admit that. I was really stuck in that. I was really stuck in those thoughts because of how I was taught, how I was raised. But I was able, thanks to help from others, to come out of that. And it allowed me to discover so much more about myself. I mean, look at me now. Trans, non-binary, pansexual. So it's like, yeah, definitely had some self-hatred I was working through, we'll talk about. But the point I'm getting in with all of this is that this kind of discrimination that you see no matter what it's based around, in the case of this series being based around Charlie's existence practically being something that a lot of people aren't like comfortable with, you could say, that they're just pieces of shit about. It's one of those things that makes it even more serious, because it's like, again, it's all about his existence. They discriminate against him because of something he can't even help. Just like with skin color or sexuality and gender and all. It's stuff that it's like, it's not your fault how you were born. It's not, it's like, that's just who you are. That's not something you could choose. It's not like you're being against someone because they're an asshole. No, you're against them for like these horrifically discriminatory purposes, and that just is bad. It just makes you bad. And on the other end of the spectrum, outside of the people like Lucy's mom, we have this animal rights group that want to use Charlie for their own purposes and see him more as a tool than an actual person. And yes, Charlie is absolutely a person, by the way. Like, that's just unquestionable. But they see him as a tool for their further plans. And of course, this episode also brings up the question of veganism again, with Lucy asking Charlie's parents, in your opinion, should I go vegan? And Charlie's mom tries to, like, it's like, oh no, we're not going to push this on you. It's like, we're not all bad and everything. But the dad interrupts her. He's like, if you just want my honest opinion, yes. Just based on what I personally think. And it doesn't have to be like all at once or anything. You can do it like little bits. You don't have to like give up meat completely. Do like a meatless Monday kind of thing. But that's just my view on things. I'm not going to force it on you, but you asked for my opinion and I'm going to give it to you because you asked for it. And so it's like, I really like how he handled that. And I like just the kind of discussion about veganism just generally. Because my view on it, I believe I've said this before, but my view on it, just to reiterate, is that I have nothing against veganism. In fact, I acknowledge that in a lot of ways it's healthier. And that it's just one of those things that does help to some degree. But like was put in this episode, you can't really like get rid of all of that like for good just by going vegan. Like, animal cruelty will still happen. So many products we use on an everyday basis is stems from that. Just eating plants, like, again, even a lot of the cultivation of the plants like causes some animal cruelty to be, enacted. It's one of those things where you can never fully 100% escape it. It's just impossible. And if you're going like vegan for health benefits and all, that's like a separate story. But at the same time, it's like it's not perfectly healthy either. There's issues with it that can arise for a number of reasons. And so Charlie's father was basically to Lucy, was like, if you feel like you can do it, if it's not going to harm you in any way, because there are some people who need certain things that are in meat and not anywhere else. It's like certain proteins that like you specifically can only get from like meat products and whatnot. And then there's just various other reasons and things to account for as well. But the point is, he's like, do it as you're able to and whatever you're able to do. Never feel the need to push or force yourself into this kind of thing. And he handled it so respectfully, and I really appreciated that. Though there was kind of a little moment there that I was a little like focused on and concerned about, because they're talking about like actual people, and like Charlie asks them like, am I an actual person too? And it seemed like he genuinely was asking it, but they start laughing because of like the suddenness of it, I guess. But like as they're laughing, he's like looking back and forth between them. It's like it's very clear he wanted an actual answer there. And so Charlie is definitely starting to care more about that kind of thing. And I'm very curious to see like more of what we encounter with it. I want to continue to see Charlie to grow. I worded that terribly. I want to continue seeing Charlie grow. I want to continue to see his development and humanity start to rise in a lot more. I think it's gonna be so good to see that kind of thing. And so, yeah, I think I'll just end this with I really love this episode. It did a lot of great things in terms of both positive stuff and negative stuff happening with and around the characters. And it brought forth a number of other questions. Um, there was the entire aspect with Charlie's mom, his biological mother, trying to say something to them, but I guess because of the brain damage she received, she couldn't properly express it, and so they didn't know what she was trying to say, and the doctor doesn't think she was like really trying to say anything, but she clearly was, and I think it's going to be important whatever it is. Once we actually find that out, I think that's going to be a big turning point. But for now, tell me what you thought of this episode and the questions and stuff that it raises in the comments below. Thank you so much, as always, for tuning in. And for now, I'm Connie, and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.